Okay, welcome back folks, my name is Last No Meal. Hopefully you can hear me well, hopefully everything works. So, welcome everyone to the second stream of the CDPR 20th anniversary event. So, generally when it comes to this stream, we're having a little like a pre-show for half an hour, and then at 4 p.m, so in half an hour, it's gonna be starting at twitch.tv/CD Projekt RED or CDPR, whatever you want. So yeah, that's going to be regarding that. So welcome everyone. Hopefully everyone is having a great day. Hopefully everything here works. Let me just play some music in the background because the previous stream was a little bit boring without the music itself. Now keep in mind, if the music is too loud, I can always bring it down because I cannot actually monitor the sound itself. So today is going to be about The Witcher 2. And it seems they're gonna be doing 8 events, or well 8 streams, and every single one of those streams is going to be about one of the games they did. Now, personally, I don't know what they're gonna be doing with 8 streams, because they don't even have 8 games in total, unless they're gonna be counting the DLCs, or well, the expansions that they released for The Witcher 3, being Blood and Wine and Hearts of Stone. So maybe they're gonna be talking about that, who knows. But yeah, for now it's going to be a Witcher 2, and I think this show is actually going to be live, so they're not going to have like a pre-recorded like they had with the first one. So we'll see how that goes. Generally when it comes to news, they said, so if you're just here for like something new, they said that this stream they won't be showing anything new, so they're pretty much gonna be talking about The Witcher 2, and then later on, I guess maybe next week, when they do The Witcher 3, they might show like a trailer or something, but even that, like, it wasn't confirmed, so I wouldn't go into that. But honestly, this anniversary is like the perfect time that they can actually release stuff, or at least market stuff. And because the next gen, like the upgrade of The Witcher 3 is coming in the 4th quarter, I think that we should be getting some ads, or at least some marketing for it relatively soon. But yeah, the last stream was just about the first Witcher. This one is going to be about The Witcher 2. Maybe one stream will be about Witcher Children's show. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. So Netflix announced that they're going to be doing The Witcher Kids show. I'm still not sure how that is going to work. It's kind of stupid if you ask me, but what do I know? What do I know? It might be good, it might be bad. But I don't see how The Witcher would work in that environment unless they go for just a teen without like any blood whatsoever in the scene. They might just have like a cartoon on that sense. Yeah, but that kind of sucks. So how is everyone doing today? Hopefully everyone is having a great day. Hopefully everyone is doing well. No, we're not gonna be getting Witcher 3 next gen gameplay, at least today. Now next week it should be Witcher 3, so they might show it then, but I don't know. Honestly, it's impossible. Look, it's impossible to know with CDPR what they're gonna be doing, because man, they do one thing, then they do the other, then they try something else, then they try this, and it's just all over the place. So it's kind of difficult to pinpoint stuff with them. Then the delays, it's impossible. Very, very much impossible to anticipate what they're gonna be doing. Okay, so just about them talking, or this, yeah, so they're just gonna talk about the history of The Witcher 2 or how they developed it. That's pretty much it when it comes to that and, you know, side. But we'll see. I mean, I don't know. I'm really looking forward to patch 1.6. Hopefully it comes out relatively soon. Maybe it's gonna be in August. Maybe it's going to drop when they do the Cyberpunk 2077 stream, because that's one of the games they're probably going to be talking about, so they might drop it then. But I'm really looking forward to next week when they're going to be talking about The Witcher 3, where things might be happening, because it's kind of logical that you show a little bit of like the next gen upgrade when you're having a 20th anniversary of The Witcher 3. I mean, it's just how you would do it in marketing in the first place. Yeah, so I don't know. We'll see what's gonna be happening with CDPR. I mean, who knows? Generally, like, man, covering them is problematic sometimes, because you really don't know when is it happening? I mean, the Steam depots, when it comes to like patch 1.6, it's still being active, it's still being sent left and right, so they're still working on it. And because, look, they started like quality assurance on that patch like 3 months ago, so it could be that 1.6 could be a bigger patch, but until they say anything, I cannot confirm it, sadly. Any more companies taking away games we own? So regarding that Ubisoft situation, they backed down after that backlash they received. They're like, no, we're not gonna be removing it from people's libraries, okay. But when it comes to DLCs, when it comes to the store, that's pretty much gone. That's pretty much gone right now. You cannot purchase it, and yeah, it sucks. It's, you know, it's bad, but it is what it is. I've been forcing myself not to play The Witcher 3 and it hurts. I want to play it so bad. I've replayed like 6 times. I need patch to justify to myself. Yeah, I mean, I was looking like I wanted to do like a walkthrough of The Witcher 3, but then I'm thinking, oh yeah, I'm gonna wait until like the next gen edition comes out and then we're going to do a walkthrough, because it doesn't make sense for me to start the walkthrough now of a very big game which is going to take a lot of time to finish. So I would rather wait and then just do it then. Witcher 3 getting a new next-gen upgrade could seriously breathe new life into this game and their community. Really hope we see something next week. I mean, we'll see. But yeah, I mean, you know, The Witcher 3 is their legendary game, so look. It's not going to be anything big when it comes to like the next-gen upgrade, obviously. They're not going to be changing the game entirely when it comes to combat. It's going to be a graphical update and along with DLCs for the Netflix cross-promotion. Am I gonna be streaming? I'm gonna be streaming every single one of these events that CDPR does for 20th anniversary. And if anything is pretty much around Cyberpunk or The Witcher, of course I will live stream it. It's yeah. But when it comes to The Witcher 3 walkthrough, I'm probably going to stream that as well, because I don't really see logic in making Let's Play videos and then uploading them like that. I think that's boring, and I think it would be better if it was live streamed, because you get more interaction with the audience, and I don't know, it feels maybe more enjoyable to play the game. Yeah, you really don't own anything digital. You basically rent out a license for an indefinite amount of time, and you hope that this service is gonna be working. I mean, generally, when it comes to games which, for example, require online connection, but, you know, can be played single player, when the shelf life is finished and they want to take the game away from the store, just patch out the online part and just leave the game as is. If it has single player, if it's doable, it can be done. Even DRM can be patched out if you want. Like, you can just remove protection or make it available for people in a different way. The event starts in 20 minutes, pretty much. Let me just check out to see if they have a countdown. And they don't have a countdown again, but it's gonna be starting in 20. I got the worst ending in The Witcher 3, starting new replay and one. Yeah. That ending hurts, man. That ending hurts. But yeah, we'll see. I don't know. Like, I really want to also go into other games soon, so that's probably gonna be happening. Nothing too crazy. I'll still talk about CDPR normally. That's always going to be a part of the channel and their games. And I won't stop talking about other games. I'll just kind of branch out a little bit more and cover videos which I want to cover. About RPG games mostly. And do like videos on that. Because there's a lot of games coming out, and I mean, we gotta move forward as a channel and as a community. But no worry, like when it comes to CDPR, Witcher and Cyberpunk and anything else like that, that's always going to be on the channel. That's pretty much a default. Yeah, so Ubisoft decided to remove a lot of DLCs and online elements, and there was, in the Assassin's Creed Liberation HD, there was like a notice below, like this game is going to be inaccessible following September 1st, 2022. So they removed that now, they backtracked, because, well, people were kind of going up on them. It blew up, like, whew. Why? Because, well, you don't really, it doesn't cost money if you keep them on a digital storefront. It costs money if you're doing an online service. But when you shut that down, I mean, that's understandable. No online service is going to last forever, especially if they want to, if no one is playing the game, they're just going to shut down the servers. But the problem starts when they take away DLCs or when they start taking away single player content. I mean, we still can't get the, I mean, yeah, you can get disc version, but good luck finding discs today. Like, it's only about, you're gonna find a disc if you're gonna be using consoles, but for PC or anything else, or even in some areas of the world where you cannot really have, you don't really have stores like, I don't know, GameStop or whatever, people just have to buy digital. Hello back to Ireland. Yeah, at least when it comes to CDPR, their games so far are DRM free. And GOG is DRM free, so every single game you buy on GOG, you can download it. It doesn't have DRM, so you can keep it to yourself, obviously, not redistribute that, but keep it to yourself. But yeah, GOG, when it comes to that, is great. I mean, generally, like, that's why they cannot have a lot of games on their platform. They cannot have the newest releases because no company is going to give you a title on a DRM free platform. It's a rare. I'm honestly surprised that I saw Blizzard put their games like Diablo there. What's my favorite G Fuel flavor? I like the hype sauce. So this one. I like this one a lot. This one is nice to drink. For me personally, that's what I like. But yeah. Piracy is the way. Look, for legal purposes, I do not condone piracy whatsoever. Don't download it. It's against the law. But it's crazy when companies do all of that shady stuff and they're like, oh, why are people pirating? I mean, man, it's you gotta give proper service to people and they won't. Like, a lot of people won't actually pirate stuff if you provide a good service for that. I mean, look, just how it is. Did you finish Rogue Mage? Yeah, but not really a big game. But yeah, I did finish it. Yeah, I have to try the Summits 1G flavor. I haven't tried that. Also, Witcher 3 Complete Edition on disc has the whole game without any patches on Switch, Xbox, and PlayStation. Yeah. Blue Ice. Okay. I'll try it out. Try it out. Wait, where's my... I think I forgot my water. Uh-oh. Okay, never mind. Hopefully they revert to the alchemy system of The Witcher 1 and 2 in the new Witcher game. I doubt they're gonna be going for that. I doubt they're gonna be changing that stuff too much, but who knows? I mean, who knows what little stuff they're gonna be changing, but when it comes to the biggest stuff like the combat, that's going to pretty much stay as it is overall. Yeah, I mean, people are against emulators, but I mean, if you have the copy, you bought it, you paid it with your own money, it's yours. You're not going to redistribute that, obviously, because that's against the law. I don't see a problem with that, personally. But yeah. We'll see. Yeah. Let me check out the stream just a quick sec. No, it hasn't started. Why don't they have like a countdown? That's strange. They could have a countdown. Have you watched Joseph Anderson's analysis of The Witcher 1 and 2? Been waiting for his video on The Witcher 3 for 2 years. I think I have, maybe. I don't know. I gotta check. I don't remember, honestly, watching it. I gotta check it out later. Anything new in the next Mass Effect? Honestly, I wasn't following the new Mass Effect so much. When it comes out for me pretty much. I don't know. Emulating physical games you own and backing them up to your PC is completely legal. If it's legal, it's legal. Yeah. But people say it's piracy. Oh, it's piracy. You have your own game. Oh, you shouldn't do that. If the next gen upgrade only has new armor set for DLC, do you think they'll make a scavenger hunt or just merchant that sells it? I don't know. I would honestly love if they have a scavenger hunt for that, but who knows? It could be just that you just receive it or someone sells it to you. But I hope they do like a logical thing around. Let me see if the stream started. No, stream is not yet up. Yeah. Oh, by the way, I have a question. I haven't really talked about it. What do you all think about the recent drama with Twitch streamers and YouTubers about React content? Because I've been following that for a few days now. I know a lot of people were making content on that and it was going back and forth, but I'm not really too much involved in that. But that's I think that's a keg just waiting to explode, to be honest, when it comes to the reactions. Personally, I would never watch someone else's video that another YouTuber makes. But trailers and something like that, I don't have a problem reacting. I mean, I'm reacting to CDPR right now, technically. But when it comes to other people on YouTube, I don't think I would ever do that. I don't know. Stream starts in 15 minutes, if everything is according to schedule. And yes, they have a... Let me just pull this thing up. They do have the site. Let me just do this. Here we go. Whoa, that's not good. Let me just do this. Just give me a sec. Apologies. I gotta do this and it should be okay. Now, desktop audio is good. Okay, good. Hello, Elkim from Philadelphia. Hello, my friend. Yeah, with Dark Viper and the Muta was also some ordinary gamer was making videos on that, and I know Asmon reacted to that, and it was just wild. Just wild. Yeah, I mean, personally, like, I mean, there's been people who have reacted to my content. I see it in my copyright page, but I don't strike that down. I don't care. But personally, I would never react to another YouTuber and post it on my channel. Personally, nothing against people who do it. That's not up to me to decide. But you know, everyone's different. Some people like if you react to their content. Some people don't. Some people look at it as a good way. Some people don't. Just how it is. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Great show. If they credit a creator, and like I've seen rare occasions one reacting, telling viewers, it doesn't really like it doesn't. The only thing which benefits your career is your content, nothing else. You can have a small boost if you're in that community, but it won't benefit you in the long run. It's your content which makes you benefit, pretty much. Has YouTube struck down any one of your videos? Nope. Nope. I got struck down once by Ubisoft, and that was by their mistake, but they reinstated that. But I never actually got a takedown for anything, pretty much, in that sense. CDPR is done for not porting Witcher 2 to PlayStation 4 and 5. Yeah, I mean, it's not really like something you can port just like that, because CDPR makes games, and that's probably a mistake. They make a game for PC first and then they downgrade. But most companies, they make games for consoles and then they release the PC port. So just how it is. Hello, Sentinel, what's up? There are several channels I only found through the reaction of channels I knew. Okay. It also depends how edited the video is and how much reactor adds to the whole video. Yeah, I mean, if you're just gonna be sitting and just... I don't know, like, that's not reaction. If you're just gonna be sitting. If someone actually has stuff to contribute, I'm fine with that. Yeah, it's not really like something, like porting stuff, it's not really like that easy. It's not something you can do just like that. It doesn't go that way. Pretty much. Never did. But yeah. Xbox is only lucky because they added as backwards compatible. I actually love the idea of having backwards compatible games or just having old games to be able to play it on my console or whatever from like Sony or Xbox or whatever. Yeah. Nice. So the stream should be starting in about 10 minutes now. Witcher 2, it was Microsoft exclusive. It did come out for Xbox. Never for PlayStation though. Did you ever enjoy the Fallout franchise? Of course. Played every Fallout game except for Fallout 76, and I played Fallout 76 for about 4 hours in total, and I uninstalled the game. I didn't like it because I got it as soon as it came out, and you know like how it was when it came out. It was one of the worst purchases I've ever made in my life. So sad when that came out because it could have been great. It could have been something insane, man, at the beginning. But no. Yeah, I mean, I watch both Asmon and I watch Josh. I mean, Josh does amazing videos. Like, his analysis are great. Great. Shmol, it's impossible to know if something is gonna be good or bad until it's out. Right now you can make assumptions, but we can all make assumptions, but what's gonna be happening, we'll see. Only thing they know and everyone knows is that you gotta live up to The Witcher 3. That's gonna be tough. We'll see. We'll see how Unreal Engine is going to suit them, because this is gonna be the first time that they release something in Unreal. So, now we have to see like how is that going to look like? How is that development gonna go? Hopefully this time the project is managed well. That's the only thing I hope for, pretty much. Yeah, I mean, they patched the game a lot. Like 76 was patched a lot, but honestly, I cannot go back into that. I don't like it. I'll rather play any other Fallout game than that, personally. No Cyberpunk news? No. This is just the Witcher 2 stream. No Cyberpunk news whatsoever. Yeah, like, yeah, the Witcher 2 was phenomenal when it came out, especially in terms of graphics. Like, even today, put Uber sampling on and see how your PC runs it. It's nuts. Like, it's actually nuts. Yeah, I mean, Unreal Engine is most likely gonna be easier to work with, but at the same time, for Unreal Engine, they have epic engineers who are gonna be on standby, so whatever CDPR needs, they just call epic engineers, and they created that engine, so they know how to work with it. So those engineers can provide something great, hopefully. We'll see. I mean, that's still a long way. Like, that's still a very long way until it comes out. The stream is gonna be on Twitch/CD Projekt RED, if you want to watch the original without the reaction. Pretty much. Am I looking forward to Dragon Age? I am, if it's good. I know they've been having issues, but yeah, who knows, man? Who knows? I am excited, definitely. If it comes out good, but, you know. No Man's Sky is a great example of how patches can fix a game, absolutely. Absolutely. No Man's Sky is one of the biggest comebacks in video game industry, definitely. Shmuel, thank you for $3. Your opinion, Witcher 4 with Geralt or not? It's pretty much announced. Geralt is done. No, you won't play as Geralt. That's done. So the Geralt story ended with The Witcher 3. That's it. Thanks, Inquisitor. Thanks, man. I'm looking forward to Hogwarts Legacy. Yeah, it looks nice. It looks really nice. It looks like one of those games which looks great on like the promotion. Then when it comes out, I hope it's not going to be another, oof, man. But that game looks like it's gonna be filled with content. But hopefully it works. Yeah, Inquisition is actually nice. Inquisition is not a bad game. Hopefully a Geralt cameo, that would be kind of cool. I mean, depends when the story is gonna be set. Like, we still don't know where exactly next Witcher game is gonna be set, what time, what characters, what part of the world, what they're gonna be doing. We don't know anything, pretty much. But if that's going to be create your own Witcher or like another predefined character, we don't know. But CDPR has been teasing a lot. They've been talking a lot about, you know, character creation. So I wouldn't be surprised if the next Witcher game would be like create your own character with a voice protagonist. But what do I know? It's just pretty much assumptions at this point that we don't know about. All right, I'm gonna drop the music because this is gonna be starting soon, I think. Back in the time Witcher 2 was hidden gem. Yeah, it still is. A lot of people haven't played The Witcher 2 who have played The Witcher 3. I mean, I don't blame them for not playing The Witcher 1 because, well, Witcher 1 is, well, it's a great game, but combat is problematic for a lot of people. Does anyone think a female should be main protagonist in The Witcher 4? Well, from the lore perspective, and that's what Sapkowski wrote before anyone tries to cancel me, females cannot be Witchers. I didn't say that, Sapkowski said it. But will they do it? What are they gonna be doing? I don't know. I'm okay with anything for as long as the character is good, for as long as the story is good. I don't like when someone puts stuff in projects or whatever just to fill in a quota. That won't do you anything. Like, absolutely. No, they ain't showing stuff in these shows because this is just pretty much for anniversary. They're gonna be talking about history. Cancelled. Man, these days can't say anything. Would you rather prefer a Witcher 1 remake over Witcher 4? I would prefer a both, if it's possible. And why my stomach is going crazy. Assassin's Creed Valhalla Complete Edition on sale for 50 quid. I don't know, I think you can get it even cheaper than 50. Hello MTB, my friend. What's up? Imagine being able to build up Kaer Morhen. There's a lot of things which oh, okay. Let me just, oh, okay. God damn, sorry about that. Okay. I thought it was my, nah, it's my stomach. I even ate, but I don't know, I think something didn't really fit well in the stomach, so. Did you say you prefer a boat? What? What history are they showing? History of the game development. What happened, how they started, what they did with this game, and so on. Will I buy Last of Us PC Remastered for 70 bucks? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. For 70, no. For cheaper, yes. But for 70, no. I'm not. I won't. 70. Wow. Yeah, I prefer a boat now. Days Gone was superb. Yeah, Days Gone actually surprised me. The critics hated it, but when I got into the game, I was like, yeah, no wonder people don't listen to the critics. Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. Like like sometimes you're gonna have some negative reviews where it doesn't where it's not like that. Watching this in work, pretending I'm on conference call. Hey Marek, welcome to the stream. Days Gone is slept on, too bad. They'll probably never go back to the IP. They might go one day, but yeah, that IP just didn't receive good love. It just didn't, and it's kind of bad. I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like that some IPs just go like that. And I think even they said they made profit, right? So they didn't really botch with sales. I could be wrong on that. I don't think Molasses Flood is going to announce their game until next year. I doubt it. And because, you know, they're probably going to take 2 years to develop whatever they're developing. So I wouldn't expect anything from the Molasses Flood until 2023. 2023, yeah. Even 2023 is questionable, man. I don't know. I just hope that the the only expansion for Cyberpunk is not going to be delayed again. And I like how they say, oh, it might be more. No, like the first trailer for Cyberpunk, there was a hidden message and it said expansions. They know what they're writing. Trust me. When they write expansion, they mean that. And I think the stream is gonna be starting now. So if there's any problems with the stream, tell me.
Welcome to our 2nd anniversary stream. Today we're gonna focus on The Witcher 2. But to remind you a little bit what we are doing this month and for the entire summer, this year, 2022, marks 20 years of Projekt RED Studio. So we started with The Witcher 1 stream last week, and now we're doing Witcher 2, next week The Witcher 3. Also, you can check 20 years of cdprojectred.com website, where you can find some trivia, some challenges with cool prizes, as well as an invitation to our community gathering next month. So please go check it out. It's really cool things are gonna be happening this month. My name is Alicia. I'm gonna be your host, and we have Mikołaj Szwed, the localization director, with me.
Yes, hi.
And also off screen, we're gonna have Sebastian Siejka playing The Witcher 2 for us, as you can see on the screen.
And also under the table, also off screen, is Rosa, my dog. So if she disconnects any cables during the stream, sorry for that.
Let's hope it doesn't happen, but you know, dogs are gonna be dogs.
Yes.
So today we're gonna be playing the quest that I think every one of you have been cursing over a lot. Because it's gonna be the Kairan quest, obviously.
And I chose that.
Yeah, I know you just wanted to give Seba something difficult, very difficult to do.
No, I mean, it's a very memorable quest, because as you said, like, it was so frustrating for so many people. I still remember when I was checking out like discussion boards, the German one or the Polish one, there were so many people who were so stuck on this quest. Well, maybe it was not the best designed boss monster fight ever. And there were even people helping each other, so they were exchanging saves, like, hey, can you make, can you defeat the Kairan for me and stuff like that.
I actually remember that, because I had issues with Kairan as well, and I saw that people were, okay, so this is the save after Kairan fight, you can just load it and continue playing the game.
Yeah, that's why when you ask me about like a piece of the game, which I have in my memory, so Kairan quest was something I instantly popped into my mind.
I think if someone played The Witcher 2 and he doesn't remember anything about the game, the Kairan is like the only thing that they remember.
But I really do like the monster design as well. You know, this big thing with tentacles. It was like I mean, at the time, like, we also had the dragon in The Witcher 2, but like Kairan was like this massive beast, and I really liked it back in the days.
Like Cthulhu.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so we will see how Sebastian does, but before we actually fight with Kairan, we have some quests to do. So maybe let's talk. You are the localization director.
Yes.
So can you talk us through what your job entails?
Localizing. No, in short, so localization is not locations, as some people actually might think. Localization basically deals with preparing a product, like in this case, the game, to be released in different regions. It sounds maybe a little bit convoluted, but like in very simple terms, we take care of the translations, we take care of the voiceovers, so recording the actors, and localization QA, so everything that's connected with like with the text and the VOs in the game.
Okay, but you mentioned translations, and from what I understand, localization is not exactly one-to-one to what translation is. You have to...
it's a very difficult thing. I'm actually teaching some localization courses on the Warsaw University now, and it's also discussed there that there is no clear distinction between those two terms, because like localization is broader in a sense that like it's not only translation but also like the voiceovers. But for example, localization is also adapting region-specific things. Simplest thing, like if you open even a menu here in The Witcher and you have like the meditation clock, for example, the Polish or the German clock will be 24 hours, but the English one is 12 hours AM, PM,
Of
right?
course.
So these are those simple things, or measurements, whether you use a dot or a comma when you do numbers,
Casimir is right.
such simple things. But also fonts, for example, different fonts for different languages, and all this kind of things that go with the language, and also the cultural differences that are in specific regions, right?
Okay, wow. So that's a lot of work for the game to sound good in that many languages.
Yeah, and look good, right? So, for example, we don't have Arabic in The Witcher 2, but for example, you have languages that go from right to left, for example, which is also like another challenge to actually have it look good on the screen, right?
Or like we have German, when the words could be super long and not fit into some boxes.
Yeah, actually, that's true. German is an example, but also Hungarian has a very, usually very long words. But even Polish, so it's always like we work very closely with the UI designers, and of course, it's always like the decision, okay, so if one language out of 18 doesn't fit, we try to find like something that's shorter in the language. But if 17 out of 18 don't fit, then it's for the UI designers, okay, make the text smaller, box bigger, whatever, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So which languages do you do usually the most on your workday? Like English, Polish, German, is that?
Well, basically, I was hired as the junior localization coordinator with German. So I'm actually speaking German fluently, and the German version was my baby. And actually, since those 12 years I've been here, I've taken care of all the German versions of all our games. But I've also been responsible, for example, for the Polish VOs for The Witcher 3 and the expansions as well. So, and of course, I've been working with all the other languages as well, even though I don't know them. So it's actually funny because, for example, people from my team, like I don't have a team that speaks all the languages that we're localizing into. But it's funny because even though you don't speak a language, when you work long enough with, for example, voiceovers, actors, etc., you can still distinguish whether, for example, an actor in Korean sounds good or acts good or not, even though you have no idea what they're saying. So, like, just solely based on the emotion that they have to convey, you can hear it out, right?
Okay, wow, that's super
Boston
interesting.
is a challenge.
So you started like 12 years ago.
Yes.
That was before The Witcher 2. Was it a lot different than right now, CDPR?
Oh, yes, it was a lot different. So I joined shortly after the vertical slice for The Witcher 2. It was this short demo with this part of actually this act in Flotsam where you go with Triss, you have this spell. You actually go to the ruins, you have this bath with her, etc. And yeah, the company was super small, like when you compare it to nowadays. It was like 80 people.
Wow, and now we have like over 1,000, 1,200, I think.
Yeah, it's totally different in the sense that, like, back in the days, even though you weren't working with some of the people on an everyday basis, you knew everybody. You knew everybody from the face, you knew what they were doing, etc. It's not the case anymore, but it would be hard with 1,000 people, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And like in terms of space, we occupied much less space in the building.
Yeah. Like it's hard to explain because like I would need to say, but for example, nowadays the place that was the whole company is just like 3 departments, right? So there was like this corridor. We had like 2 conference rooms in the middle, and then rooms all around, and that was the whole company. Like, for example, the back office was 1 person. So HR, recruitment, administration was 1 person.
All in 1 person.
Yeah.
That was a lot of work, definitely.
Yeah, actually, this is true because like when you start with a smaller company, you do so many things that you wouldn't even consider doing, like for example booking flights for testers to come to Poland, or helping get them visas or stuff like that, which I'm not doing anymore because we have a department for that, for example.
But you used to do that?
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, I was doing that as well.
Well, a lot has changed since that. So you worked on localizing The Witcher 2, right?
Yes.
To German.
Among other languages, but German mostly. Yes, German mostly.
Yeah.
Anything specific that stuck in your mind, like some cool translation or something that was like super difficult, maybe?
Well, the first thing I did when I came to the company, I never played The Witcher period, but I didn't play in German even. That's even more specific. So I actually had to see the game for myself in German, and the first thing I noticed was like, why is everybody talking to each other like sir, madam? Like German has this kind of like formal language. I was like, oh, that feels so bad. I remember playing the prologue of The Witcher 1, and there was like this intimate scene between Geralt and Triss, and they were speaking sir and madam to each other. I was like, that just doesn't sound right. So it was like, okay, my first decision about the German version was like, okay, just get rid of it completely. And then I decided to do a completely new cast for everybody, because like
CDPR streaming this.
like the localization team was actually formed around back then, like the internal team, because CD Projekt wasn't really happy with how the localization of The Witcher 1 turned out in many languages, because it was actually done externally, and we as a company at the time didn't have any or very little influence over it. So that's how actually the team was formed, and I think it went pretty well.
Okay. So that's interesting. For example, as an English voice of Geralt, we have Doug from the very beginning.
Yes.
And for
Doug
the
is a
German,
legend.
it was completely scrapped for the since The Witcher 2.
Yeah. Sorry. Not sorry.
No,
Not sorry. Actually, I'm very happy with how
It's
how it turned
probably
out.
better.
Yeah. No, English and Polish were the ones who actually kept, like the Polish cast was kept like completely, I would say. With English, I think only Geralt was the one who was kept, because Doug was so awesome in his role. But like we were looking for new talents, and we decided like it was also the time that, you know, The Witcher wasn't so well known, because nowadays I know that like people are very adamant, like they get very used to the voices that they like, they love, and every time you have to change someone, sometimes because there's no other possibility, like there's people like, oh, why did they change the voice? And it's like, you know, because it's this kind of like getting used to the voices. So like you should be very careful when you make decisions like that. I think it was the last call to actually do something like that with The Witcher 2.
Yeah, actually that's fair, because after that The Witcher 2 is more well known than The Witcher 1, and then The Witcher 3 happens. So
Yeah, and actually, so I remember when I was actually at Gamescom, and it was, I think, for The Witcher 2 Enhanced Edition, and we had this like booth in the public space, and we were showing this trailer with Letho on the ship, you know, this awesome CGI, and people were coming in, etc. And actually half of them didn't even know what The Witcher was. So like it was still after the Witcher 2 release. So we really had to actually explain to people, so this is this game about this monster hunter, and you know, like that. So like something that like we probably don't have to after The Witcher 3, but it was different times back then.
Now it's definitely easier. You say The Witcher and everyone knows that it's the Projekt RED's game, or that it's a series of books, or like a TV show from Netflix. So it's mainstream now. Back then it was, I'm sure it was much more difficult to even like market the game, to keep people interested, make people interested.
Yeah, that's true. Of course, Sapkowski was known in many European countries already, like you know, German, or in Germany, or in Spain, or in France. The books were already translated. But for example, we had this issue that like for example in Italian, I think the first Witcher books were started to being translated after we released Witcher 2. So there was this thing that like the decision that was made by the vendor back then is, for example, not to localize Witcher into El Brujo or something like that. and it stayed The Witcher. But when the books came out, it turned out everything is localized, and we had to make the decision. Okay, so like, do we change everything in the next game, or we keep what was there? But we decided to keep it because not all the books were out. So you had to actually shoot in the dark in terms of like, will we get the same term or the same translation as the books or not? So like, for the sake of consistency, we decided like, okay, let's just leave it like it was in Italian.
So like you said that The Witcher in Italian is Witcher?
Yes, I think.
But for other languages, I think we mostly translate it.
Yeah, we have Zaklinacz, Wiedźmak, Brucho, Bruszo, Sorceleur, Hexa, etc. And I think, The Witcher is very nice to localize, basically, because it's like, of course, it's rooted in European culture. It's a mix. It's not. It has Slavic influences, but also like Dutch or Germanic, etc. And it's very nice because you have all those names that mean something, right? And I see no reason why shouldn't we localize it into the local languages to actually bring people closer. Like, always find the respective term. Sometimes it's difficult to find, especially if it's rooted, for example, in the Slavic mythology. But it's always big fun to actually find some terms in other languages that actually convey the same thing, right? So I really like that about The Witcher.
Yeah, that's a nice rule because, for example, in Cyberpunk, a lot of stuff is in English and it's kept in English in other languages.
Yes, and I think it's fine because Cyberpunk has like a setting set in a specific time, in specific place in the US, in California, and it wouldn't make sense to localize Nocne Miasto or Nachtstadt or something. Yeah, it's like, it doesn't make sense.
No, it makes sense because it is actually in the USA, I mean, New USA.
Yeah, and of course, this is a thing that, one of the things that we always have to think about when we start localizing a new game or a new project is like, okay, how far should we go with the localization? Will it sound good in other languages when we do this, or don't do this, right? So it's not like a specific set of rules that you have to apply to each and every project. Every time you have to think about it. Okay, so this will be a nice thing to do, or maybe it's better to just keep it as it was in English, for example. Yeah.
So, for example, did you keep something in The Witcher 2, let's say, in German or in Polish, or is? Or actually, maybe that's actually, we should start with another question, because I know that people often ask that, are the games made in Polish or in English?
Yeah.
What's the first language?
It is Polish, actually. It is Polish. Our writing team is Polish, has always been Polish. And then the game is adapted into English and from English to other languages. Okay. Actually, German was an exception in The Witcher 2 because it was actually done from Polish directly. But then I decided to do it like in the next game, there, like all the other languages. But speaking of that, we always try in the localization team to make all the language versions sound as if they were the original one. So like every time when I see discussions, on the internet, oh, it doesn't sound like the original. Original meaning what? Polish, English? What do you mean? Like, and the fact is that many people just don't get the fact that like we're always more harsh when we actually play the game in our native language, because we hear more subtleties which we don't hear, even if you speak fluent English and you think like, oh yeah, I'm on super advanced level, it's still a little bit different from being a native, and basically there's a lot of things that just get lost in the hearing, and also people get used to the voices. Even I have that. Like for example, if I play the game for longer in one language and then I suddenly switch to another, it's like, oh my god, it sounds so weird. Like all the characters are so, the voices just don't fit, and then you need like a couple days to get used to it. It's like, oh no, okay, yeah, it's good. So it's a normal thing, and like people should really try to try our games in their local languages with their head open, like, right? Because this is something that like most people don't even think about when they play, that there might be this bias that they have, right?
Yeah, I really recommend that. I played all of our games in Polish, and it's a really great job on this end. Now when I watch some YouTube videos, or I hear, even now, when I hear it in English, it's a little weird because I'm used to Polish, right?
Yeah, that's how it works. And even me as a, let's say, professional who actually deals with that on an everyday basis, I still have that. It's a normal thing. I don't know, it's maybe biology or psychology, I don't know how to call it, but there's definitely some scientific reason for that, so yeah.
Yeah, Geralt actually sounds much less like Batman
cool.
in other
so,
languages.
How did it look? How
Doug
did you
makes
get the
it a
job
lot
in
more-
Projekt RED?
Oh, that's another another difference, like when you consider how now the recruitment looks like, because actually the job ad was just posted on pracuj.pl, which is like this super regular mainstream website when you know look for a job in a bank or in an office somewhere, and there was like
Or in a store even.
Yeah, exactly. And then it was like, boom, CDPR. And then it wasn't actually me who found the job ad. It was a friend of mine. So hi, Marta. Thank you very much. And I wasn't even looking for a job back then. But like I always been a gamer. I always loved games.
Isn't this
and
Slavic
even
alphabet?
though somehow the hype about The Witcher just
They use in
like,
games?
you know, I
wrong?
wasn't like part of it. I thought to myself, well, I need to try. I need to try. It sounds so fascinating. I was working as a translator back then, so when I came to the first interview totally overdressed, you know, in a
I know
suit,
the
you know.
feeling,
Yes.
yeah.
So you come, you know, with this fancy suit, etc., and then you look at all those people in t-shirts and sweatpants, and it's like, okay, no, okay, I did something wrong, right? So and of course, like I was being honest. I actually didn't. And neither did I play The Witcher. I didn't even read the books. And the fun fact is I was the only person in my family who did not read The Witcher back
But
then.
they're classics.
I know.
You're Polish
I know.
and you didn't read The Witcher.
Yeah, I know. Like, I don't know. Well, let's not dwell on it. But
Okay.
like at the moment I got the job, like I took all the books from my brother and I started. No, I actually bought them. But like I started reading them. It was like 3 weeks until I was starting the job. So I actually read through all of
Oh,
it,
wow.
which was good because I had everything super fresh in my head. So I was,
Yeah.
you know, this doesn't fit. This is not correct, etc. So no, I really enjoyed the books. Like I don't know why I didn't read them earlier. So I was really hooked. Well, the ending was could be better, but
A little weird, right?
yeah, it was kind of weird.
But we fixed it with The Witcher.
No, it wasn't about this. It was more about Geralt Hansa. It was like you have all those characters that
okay.
you're so invested in, and then it's like boom, 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 all dead, and it's like
Oh, but we resurrected.
some of them, at least. Yeah.
And gave them the second life.
Yeah, but I read the books and I started. So basically, you know, we have now those onboarding procedures. Like people for 2 days are being taught about this. You know, what the company is, what we do, where's what, etc. And for me, it was like, okay, so here's your desk, work. And I was like, okay, so yeah, so my former boss at the time, Didi, said, like, okay, so just install The Witcher and play it in German and, you know, see it for yourself. And then, you know, and I think I was playing The Witcher for like a week or so before we slowly started going into other things.
That's a very nice, like, beginning of work.
Yeah, it's like what the people say, just join game dev because all we do is just play games, right?
I wish.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Okay, so we went through like translations, your beginning. So maybe you can tell us something about the voiceover sessions, or like how do you choose the voiceover actors? Do you participate in the castings?
Yeah, actually, I have to say this is my favorite part of the whole job. It's kind of like being this coordinator or project manager, or even now, like when I'm the director, it's still something that I really look forward to, because it's like our job is kind of like a combination of like being this kind of like producer role. So it's more like, you know, being organized, having spreadsheets and formulas and keeping track of stuff. And then there is the creative part, and the VOs are actually the most important, because like we both, for example, read through the translations. So we improve the translations. We are in contact with the translators, for example, if you don't like a term, how it's translated, we discuss them. Hey, maybe we'll find some better way to express it.
Not good.
And then the VOs
bad,
is,
but not good.
recordings is the second thing, so you have to find the actors. And of course, this is the whole process that like you need to basically find the have the reference materials. So like visual materials like concept art or 2D models or 3D models, whatever is available at the time, because it's pretty early into the project. And then you have the descriptions from the story team, what the character is about, like very quickly what the plot of this character is, what are her features,
True that,
the way
Henry is
of
great.
speaking. Sometimes we were very we always ask the story team to provide like
Writing.
references from other media, right? Someone from a movie or a series that could resemble the character that we were looking for. And then we need to take like dialogue. Usually it's not final, it's just some iteration of the dialogues, and find sections or scenes that actually are very, how to say, they reflect the character very well.
Okay.
So for example, if someone's, I don't know, sad all the time or moody or aggressive, it should be in the casting side, because we actually need to see whether the actor is able to pull off the whole range of emotions. So it's called a casting side. So, and then we send it all to the studio. And yeah, sometimes like the process is different was different in different projects. But for example, now we are asking for pre-tapes. So basically the actors record themselves, or sometimes we get database samples. For example, 8 or 10 per characters that we're casting, and then out of those we choose 4 that we invite to the studio. And then in the studio we actually record this dialogue, those casting sides, with the director, and we usually take also part in those recordings. And after it's done, we
similar to
get the
film.
files, and then it's like the moment that everybody's interested in localization, because everybody wants to say something about the actors, right? Especially Polish and English, because most of the people know those languages. So we usually, you know, make this spreadsheet, and we send the materials to the story team, to the game director, to the quest director and stuff, and we gather feedback. And it's, yeah, and then, you know, either we find someone or we don't. Especially for the for the main characters, it's like we don't want to compromise. So, for example, if nobody is meeting our expectations, we ask for more actors to come in to actually find the perfect candidate.
Yeah.
And yeah, and then we choose the people, and then we can start recording. Of course, this kind of castings are only happening for the main characters. So, like in a game like Witcher 2, there were like, I don't know, 10 characters maybe, which were cast like
so
that.
that's
Like
not
the
a
ones
lot.
that were cast completely from scratch. So like Geralt, Dandelion, Zoltan, Triss, Letho, Henselt, Foltest, Yorveth, of course, Roche, and I can't remember who else, right?
Okay, so but for example, I know that sometimes we have our own employees in the game. Do we sometimes record their voices?
Yeah, we do that sometimes. I'm not in The Witcher 2 actually, but I'm in The Witcher 3 in the
wow.
Polish version. That's
the Polish.
my role of my life. Oh, Kairan is appearing.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's
We
like,
got too focused on on it, like to see what's happening.
yeah. So. Oh, this scene has been added actually in the enhanced edition of The Witcher 2. It wasn't there in the base game, I remember.
This is the first time we're seeing Kairan,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And Sheila will now, exactly, come in and zap it.
This boss fight was
So
difficult.
it's our first meeting with Sheila.
Just because
as well.
it was confusing.
So, coming back to the topic, yeah, we actually invite people sometimes. There are some people from the story team, Cyberpunk, for example. I'm also in Gwent, one card. So, like, we always find some small roles, and then we try ourselves, you know, behind the mic. Which is not as easy as you might think.
I
right?
mean, I assume no. I always like recordings. I hear my voice. I'm like, nope.
yeah.
I don't want to hear it anymore. And now you have it like forever in The Witcher 3.
You have to get used to the sound
Yeah.
of your voice when it's recorded. For example, in The Witcher 3, I'm actually playing a hobo that harasses Rosafar Atre in the minor quest, and it was actually we pitched down the voice a little bit to sound a little bit more hoarse and stuff like that. So yeah.
I actually remember that we had one picnic where everyone from the company who wanted to participate was asked to just come over and scream.
Yeah.
And we're like, I don't know, somewhere in the background of some Gwent card or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. So but that's actually sound design.
Oh, yeah.
More so to say. But I remember. Sorry, that's a Witcher 3 thing, but like I have to say that. So there is one role I spoke was like some random vendor. It's like 3 or 4 lines, and then it turns out that the vendor is placed at the entrance to the crow perch. So basically, every player, when they enter crow perch, they hear my voice when I say like turtle stone, bezo, or something like that. I don't know. I'm peddling some like magic shit or something, and it's like you can hear me quite often in the Polish version.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
That wasn't the plan, but it turned out to be like that.
Nice. We also sometimes put like our community people on some, maybe not even as voiceovers, but just their names to like put homage to them. So it's cool that we also have the employees there.
Yeah, and also the faces.
Yeah, faces as well. That was, but in The Witcher 2, I'm not sure if we have some.
I think definitely we have some that are legacy from The Witcher 1 because we have. We have some character in the third act that he was there already in The Witcher 1 and he had the face of an employee, for example.
Okay, so going back to VOs, because I know that there's a lot of people who would love to be like in the next Witcher game or Cyberpunk. Is there like a normal person? Can they do something to like make it happen?
I would say just practice. Like I'm mostly dealing with Polish and English, so I can tell a little bit more how it looks like in the Polish market. But basically, studios are constantly looking for new talent because the bigger set of actors they have, the bigger variety, the better for them. So they very often hold like open castings, or even like you can just try and just hit the studio up with your reel, right? So you have to record something, like show that you're versatile, that you can pull off different emotions, and that you actually have the skill.
And this
and
format
just
is
send
great.
it to the studio, and I think
Much
like
better.
if you're promising or good, they will invite you to actually try out in
So
the
basically,
studio.
not directly to us, but to studios who take care of that,
Yeah,
because we don't do that ourselves.
Oh no! Like, of course, we work with those studios on an everyday basis, but like this is such a huge logistical thing. Like, for example, in Cyberpunk, we had over 2,000 actors in all the language versions. So there's like over 100 or 150 or 200 actors per language involved, and like it's on the studio to actually call them, to cast the smaller roles, etc. Unless, of course, we step in because we want this person for this role, plus of course the main ones. But this is on the studio side. So I know we are getting sometimes, like I know because I'm getting this kind of requests. Like people write like, hey, I'm a voice actor, I would like to star in your game, etc. So what we always do, we tell them like, listen, like we work with this studio, and you have to just
I'll be a merchant.
give them a call or write to them directly and try there.
Okay, so
right?
guys, if you want to try your hand at being in the next Witcher game or like something, feel free to do that. Contact the studio, and then maybe we can take you. Maybe we can pick you.
Yeah, it's all about skill. It's all about skill. It's like, of course, people who have acting experience or they studied acting probably have a better
Actually,
shot at it. But
acting,
like
but
it's
I
not
had
like
acting
someone
my
who
first
hasn't
year of
done that
production.
would not be able to do it. Especially there are some actors who are like not.
I don't think they're going to give that info this stream,
So
sadly.
basically
Maybe
they don't
next
have any acting background or knowledge, and they're still very successful.
But
right?
even if you have no experience in acting, you can always be like an NPC, a vendor or something.
Oh yeah,
There you go.
That's true.
Yeah. Okay, so I see that we are actually getting some questions from the chat, and of course, guys, we are live.
Nice.
So if you have some questions to Mikołaj regarding localization or anything regarding The Witcher 2, feel free to drop them.
No wonder DLC
But I
takes
see
so
that
long.
someone asked, I don't know if you know
It's
the answer
process,
to this
man.
question. Who came up with Lesbomancy and the Odrin quest?
That's on the writers. That's on the writers. Like we're just humble servants. Like that was like that in the Polish script. So.
Okay, so you just get it. Oh, Lesbomancy.
But
what the fuck?
Yeah, but sometimes we have that. Like, yeah, we had this kind of like. We didn't get to this part, but like when you go to Sheila, you actually have an. I think it's still in the game. You have an option to try to hit up on her, and for some time, like one of the writers wrote something so inappropriate and so dirty, and we were like protesting. It's not because like, oh my god, we're so prude, but it wasn't like, it was out of the character. Like we felt like, okay, Sheila would never say something like that to Geralt, and eventually it has been changed. But like, yeah, I won't be quoting that. That's much worse than lesbomancy, I would
Sorry,
say.
guys. Okay, so you get those weird things and you just have to work with it and like, okay, now I have to translate it to like 12 different languages.
Yeah, well, of course, like if we feel that something's really not okay, it's not like a one-way street. We also give feedback to the story writers, because very often, like writers are usually assigned to specific quests, right? And we, as a localization, when we start localizing the content or reading the translation, we usually read we have to read everything from the beginning till the end, because we have to prepare for the recordings. And sometimes sometimes we encounter things that just don't match between the quests, which for a writer maybe is not so visible. And for example, it's still this time in the production that we're not able to conduct like a full review of the game, and you cannot see the connections yet. And we reading through those scripts, through the quest, we see, hey, like this person said this in this quest, but it contradicts with what they said like 2 quests earlier, because it was written by 2 different story writers. And it's of course normal, and it happens in a game of a big size, that like you have to find this kind of like plot holes and mistakes and fix them.
So how do you, when you are going through the script, do you sometimes, for example, print it out? Because I remember there was this picture, I think it was of Cyberpunk. Yeah, it was like basically this
no, it
big.
was like...
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. No, well... No, well, basically we rather not do it because we're eco-friendly and stuff. But like I think Japan is like you know, on the traditional side, and the voice actors like to have their script printed there.
Absolutely.
Why? I don't know.
Always.
But yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's easier to take notes. Like I remember, if you want to highlight something with a highlighter, it's easier to do that on paper, I guess.
Yeah,
always
but like no, it's like our
screen.
scripts are in Excel, because they contain a lot of metadata. So basically, you know, in order to actually be able to record the dialogues so that they actually make sense, you have to have retain the structure of the dialogue. So you have to see who's talking, to whom they're talking. For example, we have section comments which explain what the scene is, what the mood is, etc. When does it happen? Where does it happen? And then we have director's comments. So each line has a indication of the emotion that the actor should convey for a given line, right? And then we have the line, and then the choices, and we have also hyperlinks.
Next
because
week is Witcher 3,
in The Witcher and Cyberpunk, all our games, we have this branching dialogue, this non-linear thing. And in order to actually be able to record it correctly, like people need to be able to follow the structure of a dialogue, because it's not always, like you cannot have it like chronologically always in the script.
Of course,
so those hyperlinks are very useful.
So I guess it was pretty difficult with having 2 paths in The Witcher 2, like Roche or Jorvet, or?
No, it's more difficult when there are branching within a dialogue.
Oh, okay.
So for example, you have like 3 different options, and then also like whatever your character says also depends on, for example, choices that they made earlier. So basically from the quest point of view, there are like so-called facts, flags that basically mark when you make a decision somewhere in the game. A flag is marked, okay, the character, like the player has made this or that decision. And in some dialogues, the facts are used to actually follow the dialogue in a different manner depending on what you did like 10 hours earlier.
Okay,
right?
wow.
Like the perfect example of this is like the Yennefer dialogue from Witcher 3 from Skellige, where you talk with her what you've done in different hubs, because you could have done everything, you could have done nothing, you could have done only some of the quests, and each of these version of the dialogue needs to make sense, for example. Yeah.
Oh, so that's
It's challenging. It's challenging.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Some coffee.
And having it all in Excel, I assume it's gonna be very, very long Excel
Oh
sheet.
yeah, like both in The Witcher and Cyberpunk, like when you try to export the whole game, like Excel just doesn't handle it anymore. Like it's like 20 megabyte or 30 megabyte
wow.
big file, and then it takes like 5 minutes or 10 minutes to open. So you have to chop it into smaller pieces so you can actually work on it.
Wow.
Yeah, it's huge.
Nice. Okay, so speaking of choices, as we are on The Witcher 2, which path did you choose? Because this is the question that everyone always asks.
I think Jorveth.
Jorveth,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think Jorveth. Yeah, but like I really like the quest with Sabrina's curse as well. It was also quite cool. But
I
like
did not
Saskia and
choose
Bergen
Jorveth.
and like this whole atmosphere of this rebellious town, etc. was like nice for me. And the troll, of course, the troll quest. It's cool in Bergen. Yeah. Oh, I love the trolls. Trolls are always so fun to record. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I see that we have some bandits, and I know that Sebastian was actually training and trying to kick them off the cliff. So
Yeah.
let's see if he can manage that.
This game is also more
Well,
difficult
if you don't
than
know
The
what
Witcher
to
3,
do,
in my opinion.
just spam some
Could be
Quen
controls,
and hope
but-
for the best, right?
Or art,
Yeah.
and you can,
Well,
push
art
them.
is art, but Quen, like, especially when you have it like
Quen
powered
is
up,
useful.
you
More
basically
useful.
pretty invincible. I don't know, maybe we nerfed that in some patch, but I remember that I think just after the release, it was super overpowered.
Oh yeah, I mean, I know that this is one of the best strategies in The Witcher 3, so maybe 2 as well. Oh,
Well, he just doesn't want to fall.
he has very
Oh,
good.
no,
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't even know you can do this.
Yes, he was sent flying.
wow, okay.
Cool.
So you obviously played The Witcher
Oh,
2,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Any favorite moments besides the Kairan that we are seeing right now?
Oh, Well, I like the battle with the dragon. It was pretty epic.
yeah.
Man, look at these finishers. Much
Well, the whole
better than
thing
The
with
Witcher 3, if you
Philippa,
ask me.
though it was super gory, but the whole thing, and it's cool that it had this kind of like continuation.
Witcher 3
in
has
The Witcher 3
dismemberment.
that I really loved. Yeah, I remember that like one thing I didn't like. I always got lost in Loch Muin.
Oh my gosh,
I just couldn't just. Yeah, I don't know. Like I feel I have a pretty good like sense of direction in real life, but Loch Muin just completely defeated me.
Oh my gosh, I feel you. I could like go around and never find the place that I
Yeah.
was supposed to go.
Yeah.
And in real life, I'm pretty cool. But okay, I see that we have another question from the chat. So, were there certain scenes, concepts, or just words that were super challenging to localize?
Are they going to show a scene that I'm...
I think so, but actually
this
I
even
have
in
more
this part?
stories connected with that from The Witcher 3. Like for example, one of the things was guślarz.
Guślarz. Oh.
Guślarz, which is like a very, very Polish thing. It has like this kind of like connotation. Everybody like, or most of the people know guślarz from Dziady, which is like a super important piece of literature in Poland. And I remember, speaking of German, because I was taking care of that, I remember that the Germans first translated it as Schamane, like shaman, which is super generic. I was like, oh, just no, like that doesn't work. And I remember I found like something that was a bit similar, and it actually existed in German language, was the Weidela, which is Weidelota in Polish, which was like the name for this pre-Christian Prussian priest, kinda something like that, and I felt that this kind of had like a similar
definitely try
vibe,
Roach part.
like guślarz in Polish. But there are some concepts that are very hard to localize, and sometimes you have to just admit that it's better to, like, it's always the decision you have to make whether you want to localize something so that it's closer to the recipient in the target language, or actually keep it kind of exotic for them, so that they can actually look it up, for example, on Wikipedia or somewhere, and learn something. So and as said, like every time the decision has to be made depending on case on case basis, right? So
Cool.
I remember Kairan had a different
When?
name in Polish during the production. Has been changed because we, for a very long time, we called it Żagnica, which was a Żagnica. But then I remember we changed it because basically Żagnica, that was described in the Sapkowski's books, was a monster that was completely different. Like it didn't have tentacles or anything, and that's why we decided to change it. But sometimes a person gets so used to the to a specific term, and we had that as well, that for a very long time most people were calling Kairan Żagnica because it was there in the production materials, in the concept art, etc. so it's hard to get rid of it. Or for example, Letho was called Rishon in our
this
script.
fight was close.
And of course it has been changed because it's too close to Roche.
Yeah.
And we would have Roche and Rishon in English. That's too much. But like sometimes there are things like that get stuck with you because it's too late to change that in the source files, because it's too much hassle.
Yeah,
so
gameplay
basically
is
you
nice.
sometimes have those obsolete names in the scripts. Like for example, Saskia was Tarma. For example, so, and you have to deal with it and just keep that. So
I know it's very very difficult to like get used to something new. I know that talking with devs, basically no one uses quest names. They always knew like
301.
Q's,
104. Yeah. I think this is 104. 104. I think. No, 105. Kairan was 105. I think.
But like Kairan, I always thought when I was playing the game that it was kind of his name, not like a whole species of monsters.
No, I think it's
like
a species.
species.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it's a species. Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so now we have a question about something completely different, maybe a little away from The Witcher. What is your favorite game?
Oh,
It
Be
doesn't
careful.
have to be
what
CDPR.
you
yeah,
say.
no. It won't be. No, I don't know. It's hard to say. Like I have a lot of games that like made an impact on me, like over all those years.
Maybe genre.
Yeah, actually, I have a very peculiar taste when it comes to genres, because the games I usually like are either games with very good story, so it can be an RPG, action adventure, but even indie games, for example. I loved like To the Moon. I cried. But I also like fighting games like Soul Calibur. I played Mortal Kombat like a lot. So that's the second genre I like. And the third genre I like is strategy. So for example, Paradox, like, Stellaris, or, I love, how it's called? Not Cities in Motion. Cities in Motion as well, but like I started playing like Transport Tycoon Deluxe, for example, is one of the games that I've been playing my whole life, and every like 2-3 years I actually come back to it. And it's actually a game from '94. And it's about building railroads and bus routes and stuff like that. And I love it still to this day, right?
Age of Mythology, baby.
But yeah,
Love that game.
like more recent ones, I loved Hellblade, for example, for a very nice story. I was really
strategy.
surprised with it. I'm thinking it's actually like I'm still interested in games, but I don't have so much time to play anymore.
I know.
So I'm
I know the
trying to
feeling.
I'm trying to play like the big blockbusters,
fired.
also like for example for Localization, to see whether it's good or not.
So do you like do your research while playing games?
Yeah. I try to do that both when I play games, and I also try to watch, for example, animated series with dubbings. And sometimes I have this like, this is played, like acted really well. I have to look up the name of the actor or actress, and then I write it down. And the next time we have a casting and there is a role that like I feel would be good for this person, I just look
that's really
the name.
cool.
Yeah. It's like so yeah.
Level design is beautiful in The Witcher 2, honestly.
Okay, so back
Like
to
I really like
Localization,
the
because
atmosphere in The Witcher 2, man.
basically,
But especially in The
the
Witcher
question
1
is, English
atmosphere.
version of Witcher follows typical fantasy convention when different races speak with different British accents. So dwarves talk with northern accents, for example.
Scottish.
Scottish, yeah. But we don't hear that, for example, in Polish.
No.
Why isn't Zoltan speaking Silesian, for example?
This is kind of like kind of peculiar, because like these are kind of like cultural tropes that are just already established, so to say. And first of all, like Poland doesn't have like this huge variety of dialects, unfortunately, because it was because of the war, and then the population mixed, and there are not so many significant dialects, not like in the UK where you go like 30 kilometers further away and as if they were speaking completely different language.
Yeah, not
And
many languages
again,
have
it's
that.
also about like what does work or doesn't work in a given language. I also have this anecdote. I was actually thinking about that with The Witcher 2 for German, and then I came across like this stories about how atrocious the Baldur's Gate localization for German was, because they actually tried to do German dialects and it didn't go well and people didn't really like it. So like in the Polish version, we usually try to, especially in The Witcher, to go like in this kind of like direction of the stylization for like rural accents, a little bit like this kind of like Eastern zaciąganie, or a little bit more archaic words, but also not to make it like ridiculous, right? So I mean, it's cool that it works in English, but it doesn't necessarily have to be done in all the other languages just for the sake of doing it, right? So we just think that it just doesn't work.
Does it work in any other languages, or is it just English for those different accents?
I mean, not like in such extent, no. But we always try to find like this kind of small things that if a given language has this kind of peculiarities, we really want to use it. Like that's an example from Cyberpunk, for example. But like we have some like Brazilian origin characters in Cyberpunk, and for example, in the Spanish version, VO version of Cyberpunk, they're played by people who live in the region where Brazil borders Argentina, because there are people there who actually speak this kind of like a mix of Spanish and Portuguese. And we wanted to record those characters with those people, because they sound like, for Spanish people, they sound like, Portuguese, like they're Portuguese, but they speak Spanish. Or for example, we did that with the Japanese characters, that we tried to find the bilingual actors in the regions.
Because I think Hanako and Yorinobu, they were speaking the same person in English and in Japanese, right?
No. Saburo Arasaka is the only one that's actually the same in all language versions. But both in the English version, but also in the German and many others, we have actors that can speak both the local language and the Japanese.
That way. Nice.
Unfortunately, it didn't work with all languages, because, for example, Polish was like an exception, because we like the diaspora of Japanese people in Poland is not big enough to actually find someone who's not only speaking fluently both languages, but actually has certain level of acting skills.
Obviously.
Because this is not only about speaking, but also making it sound good, right? So you have to sometimes compromise, but like it's how the world basically works.
Of course. Okay, so we have another nice question. On a scale from 1 to 10, how awkward it is to record sex scenes?
The sex scenes are actually usually not voiced. People don't speak in those.
Some
I know, but you didn't let me finish. But basically, when it comes to the moaning sounds, as far as I understand, they usually are done in house.
Yeah.
So we just asked some random person
not random
on the corridor.
person, not random person in corridor, but they're like a call for casting. Like I remember actually the sex scenes in The Witcher 2 were voiced by my colleague from the department, Carolina, who was
That's also a nice
she was providing
legacy to have.
That's always cringe to record, especially if you're doing it.
I remember that there were like girls who were being invited, and
you gotta make it comfortable.
I remember the story that like they asked the sound designer just to like hit record and then leave. So they could be alone and feel more free to express.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So these kind of things are actually done very often in house.
Yeah, they
for
go
example,
on shoots.
Seba.
Is this live?
No, well, happens.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah.
that's really cool. I
It's a
wonder
difficult
what
game.
other things we actually
can be
recorded
difficult.
in-house.
Oh, for example, ads. We like when you
Oh,
go
camera
in
throws.
Cyberpunk and you hear
Oh,
those like
okay. Give
in
me
the
a sec.
background those ads for different things. Actually, these are people from my department.
Oh yeah, I know Boris.
Boris,
Man,
Stefan,
I hate-
Aniela. Yeah,
We also
yeah.
have Christine from
Yeah,
marketing.
Christine. Yeah.
Video
they're-
It's
broadcast.
super weird, like going through
give it
Night
a sec.
City and actually hearing people that you
Yeah.
know and
That's
work with
NVIDIA
on an everyday
software
basis.
doing
Yeah. So we do this kind of small things in house as well. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
It's always a lot of fun.
I can imagine. Okay, next question. It's like when you have actual names of the characters, how do you decide how they should sound in other languages, how they should be pronounced in other languages, or even if they should be changed? Because sometimes the names are changed from language to language.
Yeah, well, not really changed, but localized. Like in the Witcher,
yeah.
in the Witcher, it's two things. One thing is like we want to basically honor the legacy translations. So, for example, as said, in those regions where the books were released, we actually wanted to keep the consistency in the terminology. So, names like, dandelion, for example, I don't know, like dandelion is a perfect example.
This is actually super interesting when it comes to dandelion. Like, why is it dandelion? Was this already translated into the English in the books?
I think he was like that. There was
Yeah.
like 1 or 2 books released when we started doing the first Witcher, and it was actually dandelion. It was left like that. But like the funny thing, it's in each language it's usually different flower. For example, in
My
German it's
camera
Rittersporn,
freezes
which is
the
also
worst
something
times.
different
Ah,
than
okay.
dandelion, which is something different than
From
Jaskier. Yes, but it's always like a flower again.
Okay.
So this is like you can see this kind of like what localization is. So like we keep the meaning like because it's a flower, so it evokes certain emotions, but it doesn't have to be the same flower, but something that just works in a given language, right? And also like when it comes to pronunciation, there was this question. So it also depends. Again, like for example, in The Witcher, this is something we need to decide ourselves. Like for me, another example from German is like if I localize the names into German, I don't see a reason why anybody should call Geralt in German because it's why shouldn't they pronounce it German way? So it's Geralt.
They're not remastering
in German, right?
Sadly.
Just like Geralt in Polish, right?
yeah.
But for example, in Night City, like Cyberpunk again, like we have Judy, Panam, and Carrie, and Hanako, and stuff like that. Well, usually you pronounce them as they are pronounced in English as well, right? So again, it depends on the project and it depends on the language. Because, for example, I'm not an expert, but I can, as far as I remember, for example, the Chinese always try to pronounce it like in English because for them their names sound so foreign that they want to do it that way. And we, of course, when we start localizing a game, there are two ways of doing that. Either we prepare like pronunciation glossaries beforehand, so we actually make a list of all those words that can cause trouble, and then we record them here and give it to the studio. Okay, so this is how it should be pronounced. Or sometimes we actually do that already when we start recording. So when the first time the word pops up, we decide, okay, this is the pronunciation, and then we save the recording, and then the next time we have this word, somebody records it, we have it ready so they can hear how it was pronounced, right? So the consistency is the key here, right? As long as it's consistent, then it's good.
So I guess like probably names of the monsters are pretty
Just
difficult
one-shot this
because
guy.
at least in Polish and English they mostly completely different.
Yeah, well, again, like you have a monster that's called Necker, and Necker is Necker everywhere.
Yeah,
because, but then when you have like something like, Zgnilec, Rotfiend, right?
Oh, Rotfiend.
Like this is a name that carries a meaning.
Yeah, it's based on an existing word.
Yes, exactly, and there you can just make something up,
Okay.
which works in other
So
languages.
it usually depends on you. Like if you have a new monster in The Witcher, let's say, you can just come out with.
Another that is. I have mostly examples from German, obviously. But for example, we had like this Botchling, right? This creepy monster from The Witcher 3, this unborn baby, and the German translators translated it as Mörkling, which was like, oh, that just doesn't carry the meaning. And I actually decided to go with something that's actually very close to Polish. It's like a quite literal translation of Polish, which is Fehlgeborena, which means like poroniec, which is like the one who has been miscarried, right?
I see, okay.
So I always pay attention to this kind of details.
That's smart.
Because
Nice.
you know, those small details in the end make up the how the localization is perceived, right?
Yeah.
So now we have a request. Can you pronounce Emhirs, or maybe I'm saying it wrong, full name?
Oh, in which pronunciation?
I don't know. Maybe German. Maybe it would fit actually.
In German it's Emhir, glaube ich.
Varemreis?
Emhir Varemreis.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I think. Like, I'm not native, so I'm sorry for my, sorry, German players. So, like, I always, you know, in this kind of things, like, I really rely on the director, for example. But yeah, I know there was this discussion in Polish that whether it should be Emhyr or Emir.
Yeah, I know. It's still ongoing, I guess.
Yeah, I know. And I'm sorry, this was my decision. I made it that in Polish we pronounce it as Emhyr. I just found it more suitable, which a lot of people disagree with, but like it's been done.
Okay, guys. So you know, Polish localization Emhyr. That's on
That's on me. Yes, yes. But it's so
Emir?
interesting that sometimes
That's a name.
small
Weird.
things you consider. Something so small evokes so many emotions
Right?
in the
You make
in the
one
fandom.
decision.
Yeah, and it's like, I wasn't thinking like half of the day like whether it should be Emir or Emhyr. Yeah, but like when we recorded it like that, it had to stay like that because of consistency, right? And we're recording all the places where his name is mentioned would be like a kind of expensive, right? so yeah.
Okay, on the topic of Nilfgaard, or I guess we can also speak about elves. So when we have like Nilfgaardian or the Elder speech, does each actor localize? Like if we're speaking Nilfgaardian, each language has their actors speaking that Nilfgaardian, or is it like for
they
everyone?
have to,
and
and
getting a
it's
remaster
interesting
anytime
because there are
soon,
some
sadly.
actors
Maybe
that
one
actually
day.
manage it quite well,
It still holds
and
pretty
some
much.
that like really struggle with it. So what we try
No, it
to
does
do is
hold.
actually to make it more or less consistent. So like especially those words that come up very often, like Enseed or Gwynblade or
whichever
else?
one would make more
it
sense
Gwynblade?
for a remaster or remake.
depending on the
I would
language.
want full remake. Full.
Or this kind of things, like the most important part is that it's consistent. But of course, like when you have this Nilfgaardian, like longer sentences, we try to come up with something that is believable. But the most important thing about like pronouncing this kind of expressions is that this is the scene with. Is there this option to actually hit on Sheila? Still in the.
Oh, let's see.
I don't know.
Leave that to me.
So Sebastian, if you can, you know, flirt with her.
Yeah, Sebastian, come on.
Once on the riverbank.
They're so chatty. Oh yes, it's like
wow,
there's
that's
magic
a
in them.
lot.
It's gonna say, can we talk something about this time?
To work together, we should get to know each other.
Is that so? Very well.
Okay, we're going in further.
Yeah.
Should I get the scene ready?
Oh no. No. Okay. So it seems has been completely removed.
No, but
altogether.
maybe he's trying to, you know, propose.
A threesome?
threesome?
No.
Never the
come on.
case. Is he removed?
So coming back to the
Back to
Nilfgaardian, the important thing is that the actor actually expresses it in a way that conveys the meaning. So sometimes it's very important, like for us to actually tell the actor, okay, so like the meaning of this is this, and it needs to sound like that. But as I said, like there are some actors that do it very well. Because the most important thing about those is that they need to sound convincing. Like you cannot make them sound as if someone is reading off the paper and struggling what they want to say, because this is not how a person who speaks a language speaks, right? They know what they want to say. So the most important part is actually make it sound as they know what they are actually saying. Right?
Okay.
But yeah, this is kind of challenging.
So the pronunciation, like Gwynblade, it sometimes can differ depending on the language.
Yeah, I think in English it's Gwynblade, right? In Polish it's Gwynblade.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
But basically, like, of course, Nilfgaardian is the same in every language. Like,
Yeah.
We
don't
it
change
any further.
Although, for example, I think we also had Dwarvish, and I had this problem that Dwarvish, like both Nilfgaardian is based a little bit on Dutch, right? And I had this actually. Never mind. So Nilfgaardian is based on Dutch, and Dwarvish was also like kind of like Dutch/German, and they have this swear word, which sounds like Duvelschiss or something like that, and it sounds too German. And for Germans, it would be like kind of weird to see, or Duvelscheiß even in English. And we had to make a different pronunciation so that it
and
doesn't
YouTube needs to do
resemble
something
German
about
so
these
much,
bots,
because
man.
it would sound
Terrible.
just weird. I don't know.
I
think that's why in German it's
Boys.
Duvelschiss, which Schiss is
The boys
also
are here.
Germany. Yeah. So.
Okay, I see that someone wrote that Peter Kenny reads the English Witcher audiobooks beautifully and does some great voices. Did you ever consider him as the voice actor for the game? Do you even know him?
Who?
It's Peter Kenny.
I don't really know, because Boris, you probably all know Boris,
Yeah.
our star. He's in charge of the English VO, and I don't know the English
Boris
actors
narrates
apart from
stuff.
the main
That
ones
gameplay
by
Cyberpunk
their name.
footage,
So
he
I don't
narrated
really
that.
know if he's somewhere on the cast in any of our projects. But this is something that we can look into, especially
Yeah,
if
of
we
course.
have some new projects in the Witcher universe. Sometimes maybe we'll probably look for new actors. Yeah.
Speaking of which, I was thinking, because do we have like voice Easter eggs sometimes in the game?
Oh yeah, sometimes. Well,
boy.
voice Easter eggs, it's two ways. Oh, Kairan, my favorite beast.
This is gonna be an
my
interesting fight.
favorite mini Cthulhu. But it's two ways. Sometimes we have Easter eggs, meaning like that the actor who plays a role is an Easter egg already, like Jesse, for example, in Cyberpunk, in this quest with Mr. Stad, or for example, in the German versions, we have the actor playing SpongeBob SquarePants playing Skippy.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and
Oh,
sometimes, for
really?
example, we have other kind of Easter eggs. Like, for example, in Thronebreaker, there was this. At some point, you had like a community person, like an NPC, who was in Polish version playing this kind of song from Mieczysław Fogg from the 50s about rebuilding the Warsaw, because it was after the war and it was like,
Oh yeah.
yeah. And I actually tried to find something like that for German, and I actually found it, and the German actor actually sings the hymn of the Socialist German Republic, because the text just fits so well. You only had to change Germany to Lyria, and it was perfect.
Wow, nice.
Yeah. So if we find occasions to do something, and it's not always like it has to be the same thing in the same language, right? So some things that work in one language would not work in the other, right? So we try to find this kind of places for each language version.
Yeah, I also know, for example, in Blood and Wine, we had
Silent
Man
Gamer,
as
welcome.
Roach.
Yeah, thank you, man. Thank you
Wojciech
so
Mann
much.
and Krystyna Czubówna, who
Welcome.
was this
Thanks
kind
so much for the donation,
of
my friend.
there was this art exhibition of the pictures of monsters, and she was describing the monsters. That's a very famous speaker for documentaries, nature
like nature
documentaries, like Polish David Attenborough.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, so it was also a cool Easter egg. QTAs.
Yeah, I hate QTAs.
People love
Oh
them,
no,
right?
but he's almost. Oh,
You're
I
almost
hate them
dead.
so
Yeah,
much. They're
one
useless.
third to go.
Yeah.
They're not even skill.
So-
Just luck.
Yeah,
Press the button.
Yeah, it's already almost dead.
Most of the tentacles, I think,
And
are
this fight
gone.
is a lot
Yeah,
easier.
he
than
has-
I think
remembered.
remember about Irden, obviously. Yeah, I mean, I've played this game a while ago, and the thing I remember is like, catch it in Irden.
Yeah. Actually, it was funny because I really loved what we did there, because we had this very gamey, hint like way of hinting the player what they need to do. When she was like, "Here,
Bulgaria,
catch
No,
him
no,
with
it took me a while
Yeah.
to figure this out.
Yeah, exactly. And then at some point, like if you're not doing that, girl says like, come down yourself and catch him yourself with the urn," because he's so pissed at her. And it's actually a cool move because like even though it's like a gamey hint, you can make something more out of it, right?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
like a joke.
And it wasn't obvious because you don't get like a prompt on the screen to press then you just have to like figure this out.
Yeah, the game is for smart people apparently.
Yeah, no, I had very different pieces of like brain farts while playing Witcher 2. Like,
No, but like
I need
it's
a
like
shirt.
kind of like an older design of games where they sometimes
They don't ship to
you know,
Bosnia.
didn't really help the player
Somehow.
figure out
I guess
what
that's
to
in
do,
laws
and
and EU and
of
stuff.
course like the design
I
of
don't
the
know.
games has changed since
Oh, yeah,
since then.
now-
It's been 11 years, 12 actually.
I don't even
yeah,
think they
11
shipped to
years
Serbia.
now. It's-
Yeah.
Okay, so now we
think just
see what
only
we
EU
can loot
when it
from
comes to-
Kairan. And we're almost done, but maybe one more question. Did
Sure.
you meet someone like famous while VO recording?
Yeah, that's a sensitive topic for me because I'm always the one who actually takes care of actually organizing the thing, you know, exchanging emails with the management or the talent acquisitor, etc. But I never get the chance to actually meet those people because if they're VIPs, like those huge VIPs there for the English version, so who does that? Boris, because
yeah.
he's going there to record them. So it's like, but no, but
Yeah.
I met my fair share of like very talented, very nice like Polish talents and German talents, and yeah, and I enjoyed
Pesztera.
it a lot as
It's like
well.
it's pronounced like
So
that.
it's
Pesztera.
always nice to meet someone who's professional, who knows their trade well, and they're actually delivering a great job.
And
right?
I also sometimes hear that they are actually sometimes even fans or like super excited about the game. I think with Cyberpunk.
Yeah. Kamil Kula, who's playing V in the Polish version, actually, he was like actually I cast him in Thronebreaker as Gascon, and I really liked how the job he's made, and I met him back then, and he told me that he's a huge fan. So when we started, you know, casting for Cyberpunk, I immediately thought like Kamil will be the perfect candidate for male V, and it's funny because actually he also convinced his wife to come for the casting, Marta Żmuda-Trzebiatowska, who came for a proper like normal casting like every other actress, and she actually got the part of Judy. So they were actually both in the game. So.
But they couldn't, you know, be a couple
No,
in the game.
no,
Sadly.
unfortunately. No, she wouldn't like him in the game, just as a friend.
Yes, obviously. Okay,
Yeah,
Chad, don't
Cuties
you
in
have
God
any
of
more
War,
questions?
yeah.
Because I don't
Cuties
see anyone sending me any cool
Witcher
questions
2,
from
I don't like
chat.
them. But God of War, yeah, they
And
reveal the
I
scope
think
of
we
the
are
game, definitely.
almost done.
That's true. That's true. Hex.
Yeah, we have to
Kairan?
give the quest
Hex
back, right?
Well, of course. We
Grab
cannot
the
finish.
reward, as
Yeah.
our
A lot of names for the
our
Witcher.
Witcher
Oh, we're
contract.
going to Loredo, right? No, it was Sheila. No, who else? The merchants.
Yeah.
Because
We've been at Loredo's at the very beginning.
Yeah, well, because I remembered like we had this DRM back in the Witcher 2, where when you
yeah.
actually had the pirated version of the game, there were two things. Like one thing was like you couldn't get off the scaffold and you always got executed, and the other thing was like all the women in the intimate scenes with girls were actually replaced with Loredo's mother, right? So it was this kind
Really?
of like.
This was a very cool way to like encourage people to actually buy the game, not to pirate it.
Yeah.
Man, now I want
Yeah.
those scenes,
Well,
man.
especially the first one because you couldn't really proceed, and they were like, I remember there were
didn't know
people
that.
like, oh, I cannot proceed. Like, I always have game over. It's like, and people were like, well, dude, you have a pirated game, you know that. So yeah.
Okay, so I guess we can finish. We got our reward. We defeated Kairan. We talked a lot about localization. It was super cool to chat with you, Mikołaj.
Yeah, I hope you liked it. I wasn't too boring.
No, I
this was
hope
good.
everyone liked
Yeah.
it.
This was
So
fun.
thank you very much, and guys,
you.
I guess we will see you next week for the Witcher 3 anniversary stream.
Oh,
Yeah.
Witcher
Thank
3,
you very
baby,
much.
let's
Bye.
go. That's gonna be fun. Okay. So, just give me a sec, boys. Just give me a sec. Okay, so this was actually fun, especially because when it's live, it's a lot better in my opinion than just having you know, pre-recorded stuff, because generally that's never going to actually capture the audience itself, and it's never going to capture things like that. And it seems that people on the stream like it. So yeah, so next week we're going to actually have The Witcher 3. Again, because this is like the event for 20 years, they might not reveal the next gen edition next week. It would be logical, if you ask me, to at least put up some images or a teaser trailer next week, just because you're talking about The Witcher 3. Is it going to happen though? I don't know. I mean, who knows? But generally, I don't know why they're gonna be doing 8 streams, man. I'm still trying to figure out what exactly are they going to cover besides the things, because the third one is gonna be Witcher 3, then Cyberpunk, then probably one episode could be only about Gwent, maybe. Then I don't know if they're gonna be going into expansions for The Witcher 3, or are they going to just cover that in next week, but we'll see. Yeah, last stream was pre-recorded. Yeah, this one is live. But the previous one was pre-recorded. Yeah, I wouldn't count on any reveals yet. Generally, marketing campaign for The Witcher 3 Next Gen Edition should start, because I'm sure they're going to market that, at least in some forms. It's not going to be aggressive marketing, but yeah. But when it comes to Cyberpunk expansion, they said, keep in mind, said that they will start the actual let me just do this thing. They're going to start marketing campaign for The Witcher 3. Sorry, for Cyberpunk. I'm all over the place. For Cyberpunk this year. Now, because we don't know if this expansion is going to be delayed again, or when is it exactly coming out in 2023, besides I said Q1. It could be anything. Witcher Tales, yeah, there's also that. There's also Thronebreaker when it comes to their games. But we'll see. We'll get their own stream. Where do you know that they're getting their own? Is it official, or is it just, you know? Yeah, you learn new things. I mean, this is great. Honestly, I would love if they actually did like a round table of like a bunch of people who worked on the game and they talked about it. That would be kind of also cool for the dynamic of the stream, but this is also really cool. Just want news on 1.6. Yeah, I think 1.6 by this standard right now. Are they doing it? They might come out in August. It like just going from the streams themselves. How are they gonna be doing those streams? If Cyberpunk is gonna be in August, then they just might release the 1.6 in August. Yep, official. Okay, I'll give it a shot. I'll find that official. It could be, yeah, because this is an event after all. I guess they won't show next gen until Witcher. Are they even doing WitcherCon this year? Oh, they're going to release 1.6 this year, because in the background of Steam, they're already testing it. They've been testing it for 3 months now. I haven't even anticipated that this is gonna be tested for 3 months, because even like patch 1.5 wasn't tested for so long. So I'm just thinking, oh my god, new bots, go away. Did I just pin the message? Did I just pin the message? Man, remove. How do I unpin this? How do I unpin this, guys? Guys. What? Man, YouTube sucks when it comes to moderation and anything closely related to... Let me just... Bots. I'm going to pin you, my friend, because I don't want bots actually pinned. What the... Man, yeah. Bots. I hate, like... Twitch moderation is great. YouTube moderation is bad, man. It's so bad. It doesn't tell you anything. It doesn't tell you when someone comments. Then when someone comments, you don't see the full history of their comments. You just see like the last 3 comments they have made. And they tell you like how many comments someone left on the channel. I mean, even you can see it. You just click on an icon of anyone in the video and you're going to see like what comments they have, but you can't read them. Too many adult bots. Yeah, that adult bots are easiest to bait people, pretty much. Yeah, I mean, generally when it comes to bots, you report one, 10 more are going to appear. It's impossible to handle bots on YouTube. Yeah, it's always, every time it's always this similar bot. Wait, why'd you delete the message, man? Why'd you delete the... But how could I? I can unpin this guy, but I cannot unpin that bot. That's interesting. I don't know. YouTube needs to do something about live streaming, because honestly, live streaming on YouTube can be a nice little competition for Twitch, but right now, I mean, Twitch is much more superb when it comes to just streaming. Integrations, chat, those emojis, whatever. I mean, much better than it is on YouTube. What, so, like, yeah. Maybe ping, yeah, that's what I did. I pinned something else. So that's the thing. I wanted to remove the message, but someone wrote something, and when you write something, your mouse goes up top, because YouTube is just like that, man. YouTube is just like that. Bots are now in Facebook comment sections too, man. I don't know. I don't have Facebook. I haven't had Facebook in a long time. I disabled that because I don't use it pretty much, and no. But yeah, how did you enjoy the stream, guys? I think it's actually nice. I think it was really nice. I think it was a lot of fun. Generally, I think I'm going to make a video on The Witcher 2 as well. So tomorrow I have a new video. On Friday, I don't know if I'm gonna release a video because I have some things to take care of. Some private stuff that I have to take care of, but I might do it. Depends. It just really depends on how busy am I on Friday, but tomorrow I'm gonna do a video. Which one we'll see. I have a few ideas right now that I'm working on, and generally I'm taking my time with some of these videos because I just want them to be good, and I want them to not just release a video because of quantity, but to actually have some quality in the video. I mean, I can spam videos all day, every day. You know, maybe people like that. I don't know. I don't. Yeah. Yeah, but YouTube really needs to do something about moderation. They need to have an update where they're going to make it a lot better. And even if, like, you can, like, I don't know, I wish there was a way for people to, like they do it on Twitch, to have, like, unban appeals. Yeah, it was solid stream. It was interesting choice to actually bring someone from the localization team, and actually that was nice. Because usually you don't put localization on, like, interviews about the game. But it was good because he really opened up, like, some new information about the game generally. Yeah, see pro translators, you found it fascinating, especially how much care goes into, like, each voice and each actor and each character. That's why, you know, these things take a lot of time. It's just how it is. And especially when you do, like, recording of the voice recording of your script, you have to narrow it down because you can't move people left and right to re-record stuff just like that. So usually once you go to, like, actual voice recording, things have to be tipped up. Have I seen the RoboCop Rogue City? Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I saw that trailer. That was nice. That was actually cool to see. I hope that the game itself is gonna be good, but I'll play RoboCop once it comes out. Quality over quantity. I mean, yeah, I mean, there's people who put a lot more effort into videos than I do. You know, videos which take months to do. Generally, YouTube is not really ideal for that because, especially if you want to make a living out of this, you kind of have to find a middle ground of not putting videos just like that, but actually having quality, but at the same time, you don't want those videos to take a lot of time, you know, because usually bigger channels are going to focus on content which is longer because they have more time and they can be more lenient with you know, ad revenue and everything. So you kind of have to mix things up in that sense if you want, I don't know, if you want to live off of YouTube generally. Yeah, next week we may or may not know. I mean, there's some official reports, it seems it's not, but, you know, who knows what happens. They still have a lot of streams to do, so we'll see. We'll see. At least I hope it's not going to be delayed again. I'm talking about The Witcher 3 upgrade. because I don't think they're going to delay it again. That would be very unprofessional because they said, you know, this time it's gonna be a final delay. We'll see. We linguists often get overlooked, and it was nice to see some spotlight on the work. Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's what I don't understand when people bash games just like that, because, you know, games, it's not just one guy making it. It's a team effort, and each one of those people does different jobs, you know, from music to animation, localization, like in this case, or level design, whatever, character design, everything. So it's a big process which involves a lot of people, and usually, like, if the management is not good and if people know how to manage properly the project, then it's not going to be a problem. But once you go into feature creep, once you go into you know, productions which take a lot of time and they drain basically your money and everything, because you gotta be careful when you're producing stuff. You don't want to run out of money. You gotta be very careful with what you do. How big is that going to be? Gaming, film, theater, TV shows, TV series, whatever. It's always like that. You gotta be very careful how you do that. You think that will be version 1.7? Not. I think it's gonna be 1.6 because right now, what's the latest version? 1.5 point something. So they might just go for 1.6. Witcher 3 has a lot of cut content. Yeah. Another delay and I'll give up on the next gen. Yeah, another delay would be kind of bad, man. Another delay wouldn't be that good. I wouldn't like it. Because especially now, I mean, who knows what happened with Saber? Because it wasn't Saber Interactive. They were upgrading that. And now it's back to CD Projekt. So I think something happened besides what is happening in Belarus, because there was a Belarus team for Saber which was doing that, I think. So yeah, who knows? It's a lot. Yeah, 1.52. Yeah, so they're gonna have 1.6, and after that, expect some hot fixes, like it was for 1.5. It's just how it is. The Dream Witcher 1 remake. Yeah, honestly, like Witcher 1 remake would be so cool to have, because I still think that the actual atmosphere in The Witcher 1 is superb. You know, graphics are older now, whatever, but the actual atmosphere in that game is phenomenal. Once you go into the swamps, once you go to Flotsam, whatever, it's great. Much better than I don't know, Witcher 2 or 3, in my opinion. At least when it comes to atmosphere. Graphics, obviously, you know, graphics in The Witcher 3 are great. And they even hold out, even to this day, which is, whoa. 184 days between 1.3 and 1.5. 180, oh, August 21st. I mean, I wouldn't follow it like that. I don't think they're gonna be counting on that. It just comes to if it's finished or not. But yeah, it's cool to know that info, actually. So I'll have a video up tomorrow. We'll see which one I'm gonna do yet. But we're gonna have a lot of content to talk about this summer, and we have God of War, Harry Potter game at the end of the year. We have, what else? Callisto Protocol. We have a bunch of games to talk about, so I'm definitely gonna be talking about those as well. So yeah, all right. Thank you everyone for watching. Thank you everyone for stopping by. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Hopefully I was interesting enough, and hopefully everything was good on that end. And yeah, so tomorrow new video. We'll see about Friday, and then, you know, Saturday, Sunday. That's pretty much there. Yeah. All right, folks. This is pretty much it. Stay classy, everyone. Don't forget to check us out on Twitter and Discord. I think the links are down below. I don't know. I haven't checked. I gotta see. But you can follow us there if you want to join our community, talk about games and talk about different stuff. We do talk about a lot of stuff. And when it comes to Witcher and Cyberpunk walkthroughs, I'll do a Cyberpunk walkthrough soon, and it's most likely going to be live. Because I don't want to do a Cyberpunk walkthrough or any walkthrough now through videos. I don't like it. I don't enjoy it. Maybe I'm wrong on this, but we'll see. But yeah, thank you everyone for stopping by again, for taking time out of your day to watch this. And as always, stay classy, stay awesome, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.